We only serve at night. Part 1, regular or unleaded. The first night was slow. They said it would be. Small town. Old highway. Station tucked in the middle of nowhere, with a graveyard behind it, and woods on either side. No name, just a faded red and yellow sign with half the bulbs blown out. People didn't come here unless they had to. And no one stayed longer than it took to fill their tank or pee. I took the job because I needed the money. A graveyard shift that paid cash, no questions asked. Boss was a guy named Rick. Old, red-faced, smoked so much the air around him looked like fog. Told me everything I needed in 5 minutes. Locked the doors after midnight. Serve through the window only. Don't open for anyone. And if a black car pulls up, real shiny, no plates, just walk into the back and wait. I laughed. He didn't. He just handed me a ring of keys and a flashlight with a half-dead beam. No security cameras, he said. Don't write anything down. No journals. No logs. I didn't ask why. I was broke and tired and figured weird jobs attract weird rules. That night, nothing happened for the first 4 hours. One customer, maybe two. An old woman in a pickup who paid in change and a biker with no helmet who didn't say a word. By midnight I locked the doors. The station got quiet. Not just silent. Quiet in that specific way where the hum of lights disappears, and the fridge stops buzzing, and you suddenly realize you can hear your own heartbeat. Around 12:47, I heard the first knock. 3 taps on the window. I looked up. Nobody there. The parking lot was empty. Just the faint sound of crickets and the glow of the open all night sign flickering overhead. I stood for a while. Didn't see anything. Figured it was nothing. I sat back down. Then I heard it again. This time, from the back door. Knock. 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 I froze. Rick hadn't mentioned the back door. I stood, slowly, and walked to it. It had no window, just a slab of metal with a keyhole and a dent in the center like it had been kicked once, hard. I waited. Nothing. So I opened it. The night spilled in, cold and too dark for how close the moon was. No one there. Just trees swaying slightly in a wind I couldn't feel, and the gravel stretching toward the woods. I shut the door. Locked it. Told myself I was imagining things. At 1:13 a.m., the pumps came to life. No car. No driver. Just the soft click of a nozzle being removed and the rhythmic beeping that said someone was filling up. I looked out. Pump 4 was active. But the station lot was empty. No headlights. No engine. No anything. Just the pump running. Slowly. Steadily. I grabbed the flashlight and stepped outside. The air was heavy. Wet. Smelled like metal. When I got close to the pump, the hose was hovering, just slightly, bent in midair like it was being held by invisible hands. Fuel trickled from the end in a thin stream onto the pavement. I stepped back. The nozzle clattered to the ground like it had been dropped. The pump clicked off. $0. 0.0 gallons. I picked up the hose with shaking hands and docked it. Then I heard it. From behind the building. Footsteps. Slow. Barefoot. Crunching gravel in a rhythm too deliberate to be animal. I ran back inside and locked the door. Rick never said anything about ghosts. But the next part wasn't a ghost. It was a car. 1:34 a.m. A black sedan pulled into the lot. Sleek. Silent. No headlights. Shiny like obsidian. Wet looking, even under the street lamp. And no license plate. My breath caught. I remembered what Rick said. Walk into the back. Wait. So I did. I didn't look out the window. I didn't move. I just sat in the dark on a box of windshield wiper fluid, holding my breath. I heard the engine idle. Then stop. Then nothing. Silence stretched. Minutes passed. Then more knocking. Window this time. 3 knocks. Polite. Measured. Like whoever it was knew exactly where I was. I didn't move. Eventually the knocking stopped. I waited an hour before checking. The car was gone. No sound. No taillights. Just a faint scorch mark on the gravel like something heavy had stood there too long. Back at the counter, the drawer was open. I hadn't opened it. Inside was a photo. Black and white. Grainy. It showed a man in a uniform, looked like mine, standing in the station, same counter, same window. He was waving. Behind him, outside the glass, a black sedan. Same one. On the back of the photo was a note in small, blocky handwriting. Don't wave back. Part 2, full serve. The photo didn't go away. I burned it in the trash can out back. Watched the edges curl and blacken. Watched the face in the photo twist and bubble in the heat. When I came back inside, it was waiting on the counter again. Unburned. Smelling like singed paper and motor oil. Same man. Same wave. Same black car behind him. I didn't try burning it again. Second shift started the same way. Rick didn't ask how the first night went. Just handed me the same keys, the same flashlight, and told me the same thing. Don't open the doors after midnight. Then he left. Didn't even lock his car. Just got in and drove down the highway like the dark wasn't nipping at his tires. I considered quitting. But I didn't. Something about the photo felt like a warning, not a threat. Like the man in the uniform had tried to tell me something. Like he'd made a mistake I wasn't supposed to repeat. So I stayed. Midnight came. Doors locked. Lights on. The clock above the register clicked to 12:03 a.m., and everything changed. The humming stopped. The air thickened. And the colors dulled. The labels on the chips and soda became washed out, like they'd been photocopied. Then came the first car. Not the black sedan. This one was an old Chevy. Rusty. Mud-caked. The kind that growls when it idles, like it's chewing gravel. It pulled up to pump 2. The driver didn't get out. The pump clicked on. The numbers rolled. $13.27. Then $13.27 again. Then again. The same amount over and over, like it was stuck. I waited. Watched. Eventually, I flicked on the intercom. Can I help you? Static. Then a voice. Not from the speaker, from behind me. Don't say help. Not here. I turned. Nobody there. The aisles were empty. The cooler doors still fogged. But someone had walked down the middle of the store, barefoot. Wet footprints stretched from the entrance to the counter and disappeared at the register. The Chevy was gone when I looked back. No sound. No engine. Just the pump still ticking. $13.27. On loop. The receipt printer started spitting out slips by itself. One. Then another. Dozens. All with the same message. Paid in full. Paid in full. Paid in full. The lights flickered. And then the buzzer went off, the chime above the door. I hadn't unlocked it. No one had come in. But the buzzer rang. I checked the cameras. The feed was dark. Not static. Just black. Every camera. Except one. Pump 4. There, on the edge of the frame, stood a man. No face. Not blank, just blurred. Like the lens refused to focus on him. His arms were too long. His shirt was tucked into his pants wrong. Too tight around the middle, too loose at the sleeves. He tilted his head as if listening. And then, he raised his hand. Waved. I killed the monitor. Didn't need to see more. The photo on the counter was gone. In its place, another one. Same angle. Same man in uniform. But now he was smiling. Wide. Toothy. And his eyes had been scratched out with something wet. On the back. He waved back. I kept the doors locked. Turned off the intercom. Shut off the lights in the front and sat behind the counter with the flashlight off, breathing shallow. The buzzing returned at 2:17 a.m. Not the door chime. Not the pumps. The sign outside. The one that hadn't lit up in years. It was flashing now. Alternating red and yellow. Full serve blinking in scarlet. Stay inside. In smaller bulbs beneath. I didn't know it could say that. Didn't know it had those letters. It blinked 5 times, then went dark. Then the black car returned. Same as before. No license plate. Tires whispering across the gravel. It parked at the same pump as last night. No engine noise. Just the hiss of settling metal. I stood up and walked to the back like Rick told me. But something made me stop halfway. A sound I hadn't heard before. Crying. Soft. Muffled. Coming from under the floor. I got on my knees. Pressed my ear to the linoleum. Definitely crying. A woman's voice. Whispering a name over and over. Mark. Mark. Mark, please don't let it back in. I sat there. Frozen. Until the knocking came again. 3 raps. Same tempo. Same rhythm. But this time, they came from inside the wall. Not outside. Inside. Like the house was hollow. Like something was knocking to get out. The crying stopped. The black car pulled away without headlights. The pumps shut off. The lights returned. And the cameras came back online. All but one. The feed for pump 4 was still dark. The monitor blinked. Then displayed a message I didn't type. Just 2 words. Your turn. Part 3. Prepay only. I didn't sleep after that shift. I went home just as the sun was dragging its belly over the trees, skin clammy and spine stiff from holding 2 still too long. The air outside was normal again, too normal. The sound of birds felt like static after hours of nothing but whispers and glass humming. I called Rick. He didn't answer. No voicemail. No dial tone. Just 3 beeps and dead air. I didn't go back that night. Tried to convince myself it was a dream. Sleep deprivation. One too many graveyard shifts stacked together. But around 2:03 a.m., I woke up in bed. With a receipt in my hand. Smudged. Slightly damp. Pump 4. $0. Paid in memory. And the name printed at the top? Stroud. My name. I hadn't gone in. I hadn't left the house. But the gas station hadn't cared. The next morning, I found my car parked half a block away. Tank full. Keys in the ignition. The inside smelled like dust and old leaves. I drove back to the station. Not because I wanted to. Because I knew if I didn't, it would just come home again. The pumps were still. The lot was empty. Rick's truck wasn't there. But the keys were waiting in the door. Same ring. Same dead flashlight. Same job. I stepped inside and found changes. The candy aisle was rearranged. The map on the wall now had no roads, just a black circle where the station should be. The bathroom door was open. It hadn't been before. Inside, the mirror was gone. In its place, nailed to the wall, was another photo. A third man in a uniform. Slumped over the counter. Eyes open. Mouth hanging like it had been pried open with a crowbar. No wave this time. No smile. On the back, in Rick's handwriting. Didn't pay. They took change. I stared at that photo for a long time. Then I locked the bathroom and jammed the key under the soda fridge. Midnight came. The lights dimmed again. The hum fell silent. And the pumps started beeping. This time, all of them. 1 through 4. All blinking red. Prepay required. I waited behind the counter. Then came the first car. A sedan with rust in the shape of hands. A family of 4 inside. Pale still. Only the driver moved, eyes hollow, lips mouthing something I couldn't hear. He slid a bill through the window slot. It was wet. I didn't touch it. I just asked, "Pump number?" His lips didn't move, but the intercom crackled. 4. Of course. I authorized the pump. Watched it tick. The nozzle never moved. No one got out. Still, it counted up, slow, like it was dragging something out of the car through a funnel. $1. $2. $3.33. $4.44. Then it stopped. The car didn't leave. Just sat there. Until the interior lights shut off one by one. Back seat. Passenger. Then driver. By the time it pulled away, only one head remained in the car. The back left window fogged up. A message written in the condensation as it rolled off the lot. "You're next to forget." 1:30 a.m. Second customer. This one wasn't a car. It walked up. Barefoot. Tattered coat. Hood up. Its shadow moved too fast, like it had a second one trailing behind, lagging by a half second. It slid something under the glass. Not money. Not a card. A photo. Me. Behind the counter. eyes closed. On the back, prepaid. Before I could speak, it was gone. Didn't walk off. Didn't fade. Just wasn't there anymore. The pumps all reset. $0. The lights buzzed louder. The map behind the register began peeling at the edges. New roads forming, jagged, sharp-angled. None leading out. All spiraling in. I checked the drawer. The photo was back. Updated. My eyes were open now. But they were wrong. Too wide. Too dark. Too deep. I took the photo and tried to rip it. It screamed. Just once. Short. But not from the paper, from the walls. The bathroom door slammed open. No wind. No hinges. It just opened. Inside, the mirror was back. And I was in it, but the reflection had different clothes. Same uniform. But the patch was old. Faded. Not mine. It waved. My hand did not. Then it pressed the receipt to the other side of the mirror. I watched it form, reversed on my side. Felt the heat come off it. When I pulled it from the glass, it was blank except for 3 words. Credit denied. I tried to leave. Front door wouldn't budge. Back door was gone. Not locked. Just not there. Like the wall had grown over it. And behind the counter, the register dinged. Sale completed. I hadn't rung anything up. The receipt printed itself. Then another. Then another. Each one marked. Paid in full. Paid in teeth. Paid in voice. Paid in mind. Then the final one. Balance remains. A bell rang. Soft. Like a hotel counter ding. I turned slowly. And the window was open. Someone had unlocked it. A black-gloved hand reached in. Held out a folded note. I didn't want to take it. But I did. It read, Pump 4. Don't forget your name. I dropped it. Turned back to the register. The screen was blank. Except for one word. Who? Part 4, exact change. I didn't remember unlocking the window. But the hand had reached through it. Gloved. Still. Patient. And when I touched the note it gave me, something changed behind my eyes. Not a thought. Not a memory. A space. A little empty space. Like a drawer I didn't know I had, quietly opening. I didn't sleep the next morning. I didn't leave either. I couldn't find the exit anymore. Both doors were there. Solid. Real. But every time I touched the handle, the inside of my head pulsed. Like a headache with a voice. Like the gas station was pressing back with its own version of no. So I stayed. And when I dozed off around 9 a.m., curled up in the supply closet beside the mop sink and a box of windshield wipes, I dreamed of the pumps. Not just running. Speaking. Voices in the whirring. Soft, layered, wrong. All of them saying the same thing in different tones. Overpaid. 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 I woke up with a nosebleed and a coin in my hand. Not American. Heavy. Warm. Stamped with a face that was too smooth. No eyes. Just a mouth, slightly open. I tossed it out the front door. By the time I turned around, It was back in my pocket. Part 4 began before the sun went down. At 5:12 p.m., the lights buzzed on their own. The ice cream freezer emptied. Every pint gone. And in its place, gas receipts. Hundreds of them. Old. Yellowed. Each one labeled. Paid memory. Paid voice. Paid reflection. And then one. With my name. Paid name. And the box beside it? Unchecked. The bell chimed. Not midnight yet. I walked to the counter and saw someone standing outside the window. An old man. Suit too tight. Hands too still. He held out 2 dimes and a nickel. Pressed them against the glass. Then he opened his mouth. And a 3rd coin rolled out across his tongue. It hit the window and stuck. Didn't fall. Just stayed there, vibrating. Then his eyes turned black, and he whispered, "Is this exact?" I shook my head. He smiled too wide. Too deep. Turned and walked backward into the night. No car. No sound. Just gone. I tried the phone. Dialed every number I knew. Each one rang 3 times. Then played back my own voice saying, "Sorry, this line is not in service. You are." Then came the knock. Not on the doors. From the floorboards. Something underneath. Tapping in code. Tap tap. Pause. Tap. Pause. Tap tap tap. I recognized it. Morse. SDY. I didn't reply. I just sat there, back against the counter, holding my name in my mouth like a coin I was afraid to drop. At 11:47 p.m., the walls changed. Shelves sagged. Floors warped. And a voice from the register whispered, "Prepare for overpayment." The first car that night wasn't a car at all. It crawled. Metal twisted into wheels. A torso draped over the chassis like roadkill dressed up in chrome. It dragged itself to pump 4. I didn't move. Didn't authorize it. Didn't need to. The pump turned on anyway. And the price climbed. But no fuel dispensed. Just names. Scrolling where the gallons should be. First names. Then middle names. Then full names. People I'd never met but felt like I knew. Then my name again. Over and over. And beside it, overpayment detected. The light above the counter blew out. Glass everywhere. Blood on my hand. The receipt printer screamed. Not mechanically. Actually screamed. A voice like splitting metal and boiling syrup. The receipt it spat out was stained. Wet with something too thick to be oil, too dark to be blood. On it. Change due. Exact not met. Collect balance from self. I didn't know what that meant. Not until the mirror in the bathroom showed me again. Same me. Same uniform. But the name tag read. Just that. I watched as the reflection peeled it off. Held it up to the glass. It whispered, "You owe more than your name now." Then came the coin again. Back in my pocket. Hot. Throbbing like a toothache. I threw it in the trash. But the receipt printer buzzed again. Spat out another slip. On it. Return coin. Or lose another piece. At 3:03 a.m., the radio turned on. No music. just one voice. Mine. Please pay at the pump. Please pay at the pump. Please pay. But my lips weren't moving, and neither were the speakers. I followed the voice to the supply closet. Inside, everything was gone. Just a black square on the floor. A hatch I'd never seen. Open. Leading down. Cold air rising from it. Smelling like copper. I stood there a long time. Then the whisper from beneath. Pay in full. Or pay in pieces. Part 5, Final Sale. I didn't step down into the hatch. Not right away. I stayed at the edge with the door wide open, staring into that cold dark like it might blink. The air that rose from it didn't just carry the smell of copper, it carried sound. Low, pulsing murmurs, like machinery breathing. Like gears turning inside a ribcage too big to belong to anything human. And beneath it all, steady and certain, one word. Down. I should have run. But by then, I knew the truth. There's nowhere to run when you're the payment. When I finally climbed down, the ladder bent beneath my weight like it was tired of pretending to be metal. It groaned like bones that still remembered pain. Below was a corridor, long and narrow, lit by flickering bulbs that buzzed like flies. The walls were concrete, but wrong. Too smooth. Too warm. Something wet had seeped into them, warping their shape like they'd been softened from the inside out. The corridor led to a room. Small. Circular. Like a silo or a vault. And in the center, suspended by chains that didn't touch the ceiling, was a pump. Old. Rusted. Black liquid pulsed in its belly like a heartbeat. A single nozzle hung limp, dripping something that hissed as it touched the floor. On the wall behind it was a board of name tags. Hundreds of them. All the same rectangular shape. All stained, warped, burnt. But the names... I recognized some. Rick. Stroud. That biker from night 1. The old woman with coins in her hand. Others I didn't know, but my body shivered like it did. And one slot was empty. My name tag was in my pocket. The last receipt had printed it in red. Final sale, paid presents. Amount due, remainder. My voice crackled through a speaker I couldn't see. Please complete transaction. Please present self. Please wait for attendant. That's when I realized. I was the attendant now. I stepped toward the pump. The ground beneath me felt spongy. Every step triggered a memory. Losing my name. Touching the coin. Watching my reflection move without me. The final step made the nozzle twitch. Like it was waking up. A voice came from the pump itself. Not through speakers. Through metal. Last sale. No refunds. Tip was silence. I didn't know what to do. So I reached out. Touched the nozzle. It hissed. Flexed. Then it spoke through my teeth. Authorized. The floor dropped. Not literally, but in every other way. My thoughts slid. My skin buzzed. The room collapsed inward and rebuilt itself in the shape of the gas station. But not the one I knew. This version was older. Crumbling. Fleshier. The walls pulsed with veins. The pumps outside throbbed like tumors. The sign above flickered. We only serve at night. And below it. You are night now. Behind the counter stood my reflection, wearing my clothes, smiling with teeth too straight. It nodded at me, held out a receipt. I took it. On it, handwritten in oil, "You're not leaving. You're the one they wait for now. When they knock, you open." The reflection turned, walked backward into the wall, and vanished. I turned to the pumps. A car had pulled in. Same black sedan. No plates. Steam curling from its hood like breath in winter. I stood at the register. The drawer opened by itself. Empty inside, except for a new name tag. My name. Burned in. No slot for it on the wall. Because I'm not just an entry anymore. I'm part of the system. I serve now. And as the pumps begin to hiss, as the walls return to silence, as the clock clicks to 2:03 a.m., the chime above the door rings, and a customer walks in, eyes blank, hands shaking, wallet clutched like a prayer. They look at me and whisper, "Just 30 on pump 4. I nod, smile. The drawer opens, and inside, no money, just another name tag. Still warm, still waiting. End of shift. No receipt available. We only serve at night. Thank you for your purchase."